You really think Walmart, Target, or Macy's are here to stay forever? Take a look at what's happening in 2025, where once iconic retail giants, the backbone of America's shopping culture, are falling one after another. And it's not just a few stores closing here and there. We're talking about massive corporations that used to dominate malls and street corners now teetering on the edge of complete collapse.
We got clothing, we got to pay bills, we got to pay electricity, we got to pay car insurance.
It doesn't make me feel good.
Unprecedented inflation, soaring operating costs, shoppers tightening their belts, plus a wave of new tax policies. All of it is shaking even the biggest names to their core. The places you used to shop every week where your kids once landed at part-time jobs are now slapping up permanently closed signs. And if the giants can't survive, who among us stands a chance? In today's video, we're breaking down 10 major players quietly heading toward the end, and asking the question, what happens when tomorrow comes and you can't find a single essential item anywhere? 1. Target. There was a time when Americans believed Target was the last place they could count on during times of soaring prices, but 2025 has dealt a harsh blow to that trust. First quarter sales plunged by nearly hundreds of millions, and in-store shopping dropped by almost 6%. Those cold hard numbers confirm what many people have already felt for a while now. Target isn't really Target anymore. Walk into a store today, and it's not just that there's less on the shelves, it's the uneasy feeling in the air. Everything's more expensive. From the cereal boxes you used to grab every week to diapers, dish, soap, even little things like phone chargers. Suddenly everything feels like a luxury. Why new tariffs have driven up import costs. Supply chains still aren't back to normal, and on top of that, people's wallets are running dry after years of battling inflation. Target is scrambling to cut losses. They've restructured internally, laid off staff, merged departments, and even scrapped some community programs that once defined their company culture. But when a giant has to choose between its image and survival, you can bet which one gets thrown overboard first. People feel betrayed. One single mom shared how she now has to drive 40 minutes just to find a store with any decent sales left. A Target employee with over 7 years on the job has had hours cut so often they had to pick up a food delivery gig at night. And shoppers who once saw Target as a safe place to spend are now buying everything online, as long as it's cheaper. Nothing lasts forever. That phrase has never felt more painful when applied to the icons that once shaped American life. And if a name like Target can slowly disappear, what comes next? Especially where affordable used to be a survival mantra is even more ruthless. 2. Walmart. Walmart used to be the place Americans turned to for reassurance. No matter how wild the economy got, no matter how empty your bank account felt, there was always one spot where you could grab food, medicine, and everyday essentials at a price that made sense. But that feeling is slipping away. Recently, Walmart reported a slight uptick in first quarter 2025 revenue, but behind that number lies a series of warning signs over 1,500 jobs, cut mostly in tech and e-commerce departments. The vibe in offices from Arkansas to California is growing colder because everyone knows a company only lays people off when it's bracing for an unprecedented belt-tightening phase. Supply chains are still disrupted. Import tariffs have suddenly spiked. Prices for bananas, avocados, meat items that used to be ridiculously cheap have climbed so high consumers are starting to walk away. Single moms who once depended on Walmart to feed their 3 kids are now scrutinizing every price tag. Seniors who used to catch the bus to Walmart every week for their prescriptions are now buying less simply because it's become too expensive. Walmart may be a giant, but even giants feel the tremors when their foundation, the everyday shopper, begins to shake. What most don't realize is that Walmart's own internal struggles run deep. Profit margins are shrinking because their old inventory accounting methods don't work well anymore amid volatile import prices. Stocks are volatile, investors, nervous leadership constantly restructuring, but no report dares say it. Outright Americans are losing faith in what used to be their last refuge. Walmart probably won't vanish overnight, but if it loses its place as the market for every household, what meaning does its existence still hold? That question sends a chill down many spines because if Walmart starts to crack, another well-known electronics chain could be the next domino to fall. 3. Best Buy. Best Buy doesn't sell produce or medicine, but if you've ever needed to buy a laptop for your kids' schoolwork, a fridge when your food started spoiling in the summer heat, or just a charging cable when your phone's about to die, you know this is where Americans turn when technology becomes essential to everyday life, and now that very place that once felt like they have everything is standing empty, not because the shelves are bare, but because nobody's coming through the doors. In the first quarter of 2025, Best Buy's profits dropped nearly 18%. Many Americans no longer dare to spend hundreds of dollars on new tech gadgets. What used to be a simple click-to-buy decision has turned into a headache. Is it really necessary? Can I fix the old one? Is there a cheaper option somewhere, when what you really need is food on the table tomorrow? Smart speakers and air purifiers suddenly feel like luxury items. Best Buy can't handle this pressure. They announced plans to close dozens more stores this year. Some will be repurposed, others will disappear for good. The real concern: in small towns and rural communities where Best Buy is the only electronics store, people will lose their options, lose access to warranties, and lose the chance to get quality technology. Meanwhile, in cities, thousands of employees are left wondering, will there even be a job tomorrow? There's more. Rising import costs from new tariffs force Best Buy to hike prices. But when you raise the price of a TV while Amazon stays cheaper, what happens? Customers walk away, and they don't come back. Best Buy once stood strong against the storm of e-commerce. They were proof that brick-and-mortar retail could survive if it was smart and agile enough. But today even they have to bow to bigger waves, the economy shifting consumer mindsets and social changes like never before. And when the beep of Best Buy's barcode scanner starts to fade away, it unintentionally echoes the slow decline of another once glamorous chain, a symbol of luxury in the heart of the big city now crumbling day by day. 4. Macy's. In America, some things don't need advertising like Macy's. It used to be part of our shared memories, the place where families would bundle up for holiday shopping, where dresses were tried on amid laughter and compliments. But in 2025, walking into Macy's isn't a memorable experience anymore. It's a sad reminder that the past can't be held onto forever. Macy's sales keep plunging. Store shelves are growing emptier. The scent of expensive perfume is now drowned out by the smell of cardboard dust and silence. Many locations have shut down for good, and the ones still open are barely hanging on, living in fear of being wiped off the map at any moment. The reason isn't just the shift to online shopping. It's because Macy's sells things that are no longer considered essential. With inflation dragging on, Americans aren't daring to spend on new suits or high heels for some maybe occasion. They're spending on food, medicine, fuel, and hoping there aren't any surprise bills next month. Macy's has tried, restructuring mass closures, focusing resources on a few priority stores. But that's like slapping a bandage on an infected wound. The malls where Macy's once anchored have turned into ghost towns. The lights are still on, but the soul is gone. What about the workers? A 48-year-old employee who worked at Macy's in downtown Philadelphia for 17 years says she never imagined her career would end with a layoff notice. They told me I could reapply in another state, but my family is here, my home is here, my life is here, she said. Macy's collapse isn't just about a brand. It's a test of the resilience of America's middle-class people who once fueled prosperity by shopping now forced to count every penny. And as Macy's lights slowly go dark, another chain once loved for its bargain-packed shelves is showing signs of chaos just as bad. 5. Big Lots. Some retail chains collapse and people feel nostalgic because of the memories they carry. Others fall apart and shock us with what it means for the future. Big Lots belongs to both categories. Once a go-to spot for American workers trying to stretch every dollar while still getting everything their family needed, Big Lots was known for carts overflowing with household goods, pantry staples, rugs, and affordable furniture. But now, people aren't coming to Big Lots to shop anymore. They're stopping by just to see if the store has shut down for good. Big Lots made plenty of mistakes. They expanded way too fast, just as consumer spending was shrinking under inflation's pressure. They doubled down on furniture, something people only buy when money's extra, not when electricity, gas, and gas prices keep soaring. And they raised prices right when shoppers were tightening their belts the most. When a store branded as cheap stops being cheap, it loses its reason for existing. But it's not just Big Lots paying the price. Longtime employees face mass layoffs. Poor neighborhoods that once relied on Big Lots as the only affordable option now have to drive miles to the next supermarket. Middle-aged shoppers who once loved hunting for deals now turn away, saying, at these prices, I might as well just go to Walmart. Of course you can't blame Big Lots alone. They're victims too, victims of an unstable economy of debts that can't be reversed, of a society where even the most careful saver is anxious about what next month's paycheck will actually buy. Big Lots fading away is a warning shot for the entire retail world. When even discount chains can't survive, we're talking about a class of Americans with no safety net, no financial cushion, no trust, and not even a reliable store to get through the day. And as Big Lots signs go dark across countless towns and malls, now half empty, people start noticing another fashion brand, once a youth culture staple, that's losing its cool just as fast. 6. Forever. 21, Forever 21 wasn't just about selling clothes, it used to sell a dream of youth energy style and affordability all rolled into one. With hundreds of stores nestled in bustling malls, Forever 21 was the place where a 20-something girl could walk in with just $30 and walk out looking like a true fashionista. But by 2025, that dream had completely shattered. Stores began disappearing. The neon lights that once drew crowds, now replaced by closed signs swinging silently in the breeze. Shelves that used to glow with color are now covered in tarps. No announcements, no farewells, just a quiet, cold retreat. Why? Because forever. 21 is no longer the only place young people turn to express themselves. Shein, Temu, and a slew of online brands have popped up like mushrooms, updating trends faster than Instagram itself. They're cheaper, more convenient, and most importantly don't need expensive storefronts in prime locations to survive. Forever 21 tried to fight back. They slashed prices, launched new product lines, expanded internationally. But in an era when a single dress can rack up millions of likes online before it even hits the racks, Forever 21's slower pace became a deadly trap. And as real-world costs for rent staff and shipping kept climbing, the brand ran out of options. But Forever 21's fall isn't just the story of a fashion label. It's a new crack in the heart of America's malls, which were already wobbling after the pandemic. It's thousands of sales associates, mostly young women, suddenly out of work with no clear next step. It's a generation of customers who feel a real loss, something that once felt, so them just vanished. And in the end, it's a cold reminder that nothing lasts forever. Not youth, not fashion, and no brand can escape the churn if it loses the beat of the times. Elsewhere amid shelves stacked with balloons and birthday decorations, another chain is desperately clinging to life with one last round of dying promotions. 7. Party City. A party in America. Whether it's a kid's birthday, Halloween, a housewarming, or a bachelor party, always had one thing in common. Balloons, tinsel masks, costumes. And Party City. Not Walmart, not Amazon. It was Party City that made you feel like you were about to throw something really fun. But that's no longer the case. Party City stores have been quietly disappearing from familiar neighborhoods. No big announcements, no drama, just a sad retreat. The chain, which once boasted nearly 800 stores, filed for bankruptcy twice in less than 3 years. By 2025, most locations have been liquidated, sold off, or shuttered for good. You don't need the news to tell you this. You feel it when you walk past malls and see the lights dimmed, shelves cleared out, and a plain white sign that reads, "Closed due to business reasons." But the real reason goes beyond numbers. As the economy staggers under inflation and soaring living costs, people started rethinking the need to celebrate. Now a party might get scaled back or even canceled simply because the budget won't stretch. Last Halloween, I just bought a few cheap masks online and reused decorations from the year before, shared a mother of 3 in Houston. Nothing new, but I still tried to keep the kids from being disappointed. Meanwhile, online competitors cheaper and with home delivery have squeezed the life out of traditional retailers like Party City. Leasing retail space became a heavy burden. Operating costs turned into a double-edged sword, and when customers stop walking in every day, open means losing money. Of course, there were efforts to save the chain. Party City tried restructuring, downsizing, and boosting its online sales. But with hundreds of millions in debt and irreversible shifts in consumer habits, it was like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. What's even scarier isn't just the business loss, it's the workers, mostly women who once decorated stores, blew up balloons, and helped customers now unemployed, without benefits, with no clear way forward. It's the communities that depended on Party City for local festivals, school fundraisers now forced to cut back or make do with makeshift solutions. To many, Party City might have just been a nice-to-have store, not essential like food or medicine, but losing it means America loses a little bit more of its simple joy, a symbol tied to memories, to community, and to the feeling that no matter how hard things get, people can still come together and smile. And when even parties become a luxury, how many more stores, the ones that make everyday life possible, will share the same fate? 8. Cons, Badcock. Down in the South, plenty of families didn't have to worry about their credit scores because there was Cons and Badcock retail chains famous for pushing the buy now, pay later model. The way they helped working class folks get a sofa, a fridge, or a TV without dropping a big chunk of cash up front made Cons and Badcock seem like a financial lifeline for low-income households. But by 2025, all that's left from these two names are piles of unpaid credit contracts and empty storefronts scattered across quiet shopping centers. Cons bought out Badcock, hoping to build a retail empire worth billions, but they forgot one thing when consumers are struggling just to get by. Day to day, no one needs a new couch installment plan or not. Living costs are skyrocketing, credit card interest rates have shot past 20%, gas prices, rent, insurance, all weighing heavily on the shoulders of the very people Cons and Badcock targeted. And ironically, their most loyal customers are now the ones slashing their spending the hardest. What was once their advantage, the buy now pay later credit model, turned into a ticking time bomb. Customers couldn't keep up with payments and the company took the losses, but chasing after payments only hurt their reputation more. When people realized they were paying almost double the original price after years of installments, they turned away. And as foot traffic dried up, the costs of maintaining store staff and logistics pushed the company faster toward bankruptcy. But the fallout wasn't just about the business. More than 4,000 employees from both chains lost their jobs. Many of them were once customers themselves, believing in the message Cons makes shopping easy, now left without income and carrying debts they once helped sell to others. In small towns where Badcock was one of the few trusted furniture stores, their disappearance meant more than just losing a shopping option. It meant losing a community gathering spot, a slice of local memory, the place families once went together to pick out wedding tables, a first bed for their baby, or a washing machine after 10 years of hand-washing clothes. Of course, Cons and Badcock are victims too. They didn't fail because they were bad at what they did, but because their whole model became outdated in the face of brutal changes in the economy and technology. But people don't care about that. What they want is an answer. What do I do when I can't find anywhere to buy on credit and even my go-to store is closed? There's no clear answer yet, but as the glass windows of Cons and Badcock gather dust somewhere else, another retail chain is fighting to hold on with desperate sales, and the tired eyes of its employees seem to already know what's coming next. 9. Bargain Hunt. In the rural South, Bargain Hunt used to be a household name, a place where with just $20 in your pocket, you could fill your car with stuff. Nothing fancy or flashy, but it was that thrill of scoring a great deal that kept customers coming back time and again. Now though, Bargain Hunt is quietly stepping out of the game, just like it silently served the overlooked working class for so many years. The real shock hit when people started seeing their favorite stores closing one by one with no signs of reopening. From Tennessee to Alabama, Georgia to Ohio, small towns lost the place that once helped them buy household goods, clothes, even dry food at prices sometimes half what supermarkets charged. Not everyone can drive miles to Walmart or wait days for an Amazon order with high delivery fees. Bargain Hunt was a lifeline, and its collapse leaves a much bigger hole than the numbers suggest. Folks don't care that Bargain Hunt once relied heavily on inventory from Amazon or big wholesalers. They just know that when Amazon pulled its supply contracts, Bargain Hunt couldn't keep shelves stocked. They don't need to understand the supply chain. They just notice that every time they stop by, the store looks emptier. Prices aren't as cheap, and the employees exchange worried glances. Competition from big chains and online retailers was inevitable. But the deeper issue is that society is gradually losing the closest, most affordable options for low-income people. Those who have always lived frugally now have to spend more simply because the places that understood them best can no longer survive. And no one talks about it. No press conferences, no emergency bailouts. Bargain Hunt went down like hundreds of other small businesses, quietly, invisibly replaced by cheap price algorithms on phone screens. Meanwhile, shoppers are left behind with thinning wallets and mounting bills. Bargain Hunt thrived on a delicate balance of low prices and available stock, and it died by that same balance. Its business model couldn't withstand the storm of today's turbulent U.S. economy, where a single move by a giant like Amazon can sink an entire system. But Americans don't just buy food and essentials. They want their homes to feel nicer, more comfortable, especially when the outside world feels harsher every day. And even a chain specializing in affordable home decor, once thought stable, is now starting to crack in worrying ways. 10. At home. For many Americans, at home was once a haven, a place to turn an empty room into a warm, inviting home. From sofas and wall art to seasonal decorations, everything was neatly lined up in endless aisles inside massive warehouse stores. But by mid-2025, those aisles have grown eerily quiet, and the dream of making a house feel like home is slipping away for millions of families, all because of a harsh new reality. At home is drowning in debt, running out of cash, and teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. But this isn't just about one company failing. It reflects a deeper crisis for a whole segment of American consumers, the middle class, that once believed in the promise of big savings through bulk shopping as a smart way to stretch a paycheck. Now with prices climbing daily, the dollar losing value, and any non-essential spending being slashed, even the stores that catered to small, simple joys like beautifying a home are being left behind. At Home once thrived by importing large volumes of low-cost goods from China. But when trade tariffs surged to historic highs in 2025, those import costs skyrocketed. Coffee tables that once sold for under $100 now retail for $160, and customers are realizing they can live without them. On top of that, the warehouse-style business model. Massive square footage, high utility bills, and large staff doesn't fit a world where people compare prices on their phones and wait for free delivery. Even loyal customers have had to admit, I just can't afford to buy new summer decorations this year. I'm reusing what I already have. But behind the financial collapse lies something more painful: the loss of community spirit. Many at-home locations were part of open-air shopping centers, the kind of places where families would spend weekends browsing, where moms brought their kids to pick out pillows, or newlyweds chose their first bedside lamps together. Those moments, they don't seem to belong in today's economy anymore. And while shoppers pull back on spending at home, employees, mostly hourly workers, now face the looming threat of mass layoffs. These aren't high-level executives with severance packages. These are everyday workers who live near the store, who rely on every shift, and who don't have many backup options if the doors close for good. What makes this unraveling even scarier is how quietly it's happening. No dramatic headlines, no viral crowds swarming for liquidation sales like at Target. At home is dying slowly, one store at a time, one product line discontinued, one name quietly removed from the staff schedule. And if a retail chain once built around the idea of bringing order and beauty to everyday life can't survive this storm, it's a warning sign. The instability hitting the retail sector isn't over. In fact, it may just be getting started. As one retail icon after another fades away, we have to ask, is this just about businesses failing, or is it a sign of something deeper unraveling in American life? Are we heading toward a society where even buying a simple decoration or hosting a small gathering becomes a luxury? Do you find yourself caught in a tightening spiral where each month you quietly give up one more little habit that used to bring you joy? This video isn't meant to spread panic or pessimism. Our goal is to explore, analyze, and spark conversation grounded in real events, real emotions, and the social shifts unfolding around us. We fully respect the U.S. Constitution and all federal regulations. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss future content, the kind that covers what mainstream media often leaves out. Our analysis is based on current data and independent perspectives. It's not meant to predict the future with certainty or create confusion. We simply hope it helps our community reflect and respond before it's too late.